I have given 32 years to my game and I'm still looking for a job. Hi, I'm Hetal Dave. I'm first and only female sumo wrestler from India. I was the only woman representing our country in over 200 games. India, marriage is a very big thing. So people will not marry her. I didn't have a coach. I didn't have a manager. Sumo wrestler hai to moti hogi. Who else after Hetal Dave will take this legacy ahead? I had to retire in 2012 because I didn't have a backup. People were not supporting me. पैसा क्यों डाल रहे हो लड़की पे? इससे अच्छा उसको उसका शादी कराओ, शादी में डालो पैसा. They would call me, hey judo, hey sumo. I have trained Shriyam Bagnani, the actor.
I can see you're also wearing a T-shirt. I think it has easy written on it. Oh wow! So Hetal Dave, India's first and only professional female sumo wrestler. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So where did it all begin? Like, all I know is that you were a 6-year-old training for judo, and then a few years later becoming the only female sumo wrestler in India. So what's the story behind this?
We only knew that karate exists. So when I started doing judo, I was doing something different there as well. And then when I came to know about sumo wrestling, it was a totally different geography, because firstly, it is a male-dominated sport.
Yes.
So it happened, I believe in destiny. So it's like my destiny took me towards sumo wrestling.
So as you said that you had nobody to train with.
Right.
You read somewhere that your father was your trainer. So
yes.
he left his job. So how did that happen?
Yeah. So my father has always been a very big support in my life, who actually who gave me a push to do anything that I wanted. And sumo wrestling was like I used to like at that time we didn't have a laptop or a computer at home. So I used to go to the cyber cafes that we used to have in the in our area. Yeah. I used to go there. I used to sit and see all the sumo wrestling match, and I would write down everything. So I actually learned sumo wrestling like that. I used to watch, understand, and then write it down. And then I used to come home. I used to explain it to my father. I would get my brother sit down and explain it to them, and then we would we would enact the whole act again. Okay. So like that, I used to train.
So when you told them for the first time, what was their initial reaction like? Because, as you told us that it's traditionally a male-dominated sport, plus it's also not native to our country. So what was their reaction like?
Like my father has never had any shocking reactions to anything that I've said.
Okay.
But he was like, "Pehle tu dekh le if female also are participating."
Yeah.
So first research on that, and if you want to do, you are keen on doing it, why not? I'm there to support.
So what were the challenges?
I would say, of course, the infrastructure. So I didn't have any clays, the stadium that we have, the clay thing, the ring. So we didn't have that ring or anything. So I used to go to Oval Maidan. Yes. So there's this ground at Churchgate where I used to live. So we used to go there because they had this, the surface was a little soft, it was sandy, and they had grass. So grass pe agar aap girte ho, to you don't get hurt that much. And since being a judo player, we know how to fall. So we used to go there morning, evening, and go and practice there.
Okay.
And of course, a partner was a big issue. So I had to. So there was my brother, but of course, you need different people, different forces, different touches to practice with when you're doing a combat sport. There were many things like the sponsorship was the biggest issue since this game is not in Olympics. So I had to find my own sponsor to participate for any tournament. I had to go door to door. I had to go office to office to find a sponsor. And then there was this local newspaper who wrote about me or wrote an article that I'm actually looking for a sponsorship for this tournament. Okay. And luckily, that's what I said, destiny had to take me there. So luckily I got a sponsor. Somebody reverted back on that article He actually gave me the sponsorship, and then I could go and play my first World Championship in Estonia in
Okay,
2008.
2008, right?
Yes.
So 2008, that was also the year when you had set a Limca Book of World Record, if I'm not wrong, right?
Yes, yes. For being first female sumo wrestler and only female sumo wrestler who has ever participated and who has ever done sumo wrestling internationally. Everybody in the world championship were so proud of me. Everybody came to me and they were like, "We are so proud that you from India all alone you have come." I didn't have anybody. That was my first tournament, the first experience of my life. I didn't have a coach, I didn't have a manager, I didn't have anybody. And honestly, I when I went there, I thought that it's good that I didn't have anyone, because I have the whole world who is supporting me.
Yeah. And if I'm not wrong, I think you were placed eighth in that championship.
Yeah.
First,
I was in the top 8.
yeah. So this was in 2008. And by 2009, when you were in Taiwan for World Games, what was that experience like?
That was again, I would say I was the only women representing our country in over 200 games in Taiwan in that competition.
Oh, wow. So now we know that your family was supportive right from the beginning, but what was the reaction of your relatives, neighbors, friends like? Because, as we know, sumo wrestling, very male dominated sport, plus a woman pursuing it for the first time. Nobody has ever heard of it, back in that time. So, what did they say?
Well, people who knew me that I am a little mad were okay. But of course, our community and everyone were like, why do you want your girl to do something which is, which is male dominated? Who will marry her? Like India, marriage is a very big thing. So people will not marry her. There were prospects who took her back, like, no, 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 we don't want someone who is into wrestling or something like that. I don't know why, but people are always judging sumo wrestling, this that sumo wrestler. अरे sumo wrestler है तो मोटी होगी. It's a judgment passed just before knowing a person or seeing a person. Honestly, other than my family, other than us four, nobody actually supported. Like, I'm not asking anything more, just a shout out or just a support from people, so that every individual in our country knows that Hetal Dave has done something.
Yes.
There is a game, sumo wrestling, which is emerging. I would want that I can lead a team who can participate like every other game who's participating from our country. What is the point? What is the point if we are just targeted towards a few sports that are obviously just very well settled?
Yeah.
Then why? What is the point? Like, who else? Who else after Hetal Dave will take this legacy ahead? Honestly, if I tell you, I have given 32 years, 30 years, over 30 years of my life to sports, and I'm still struggling to have a basic job in the country. I am not independent. I don't have a job. Now, people come and tell me कि तुम अपना classes क्यों नहीं चलाते? Why don't you start your own classes? Why don't you train kids? But people don't know that even training kids is like, एक महीना हो गया बच्चा सीख गया, oh, now my kid knows judo, now we'll move on to some other game. So this is not something that people are taking ahead. This is not something that people are taking it as a career. And now I understand why people are not taking it as a career. And now I would say that please study over doing anything else in your life, which you feel is different, but world doesn't feel that. Of course, we don't have a backup. I had to retire in 2012 because I didn't have a backup. People were not supporting me. So I had no choice but to retire, which I didn't want to, but I had no choice.
So, do you remember any things that, society, neighbors, relatives used to tell you? For example, कि लड़कों का खेल है.
हाँ, of course, लड़कों का खेल है, लड़की खेलेगी, हाथ पैर टूट जाएगा, कौन शादी करेगा, कोई पूछेगा नहीं, क्या करोगे फिर, लड़की को घर पे थोड़ी बैठाओगे, लाइफ टाइम तक थोड़ी घर पे बैठ के खाएगी. एंड क्या भरोसा, कुछ होगा ही नहीं, गेम इज नॉट नोन इन द कंट्री,
Yes.
तो इतना पैसा क्यों डाल रहे हो लड़की पे, इससे अच्छा उसको उसका शादी कराओ, शादी में डालो पैसा। सो डीमोरलाइज किया बहुत लोगों ने,
Uh-huh.
बट हमने कभी बॉदर ही नहीं किया।
What did your normal day look like, back when you were training and you used to go for events, because you were also a student at that time and you were also
Yeah.
training. So, what was your daily routine like?
Well, I would start my day at say 5:35 in the morning. So we used to train 2-3 hours in the morning, and then would come home, have breakfast. And if I was, cutting down on weight, then no breakfast, just uh, green tea, black tea, or something like that. So yeah, then school or college study. Then in the evening, come back, have your say some snack or something, and then again go train.
So, when you were growing up, who were your idols?
Honestly, the first idol that comes in my mind, looking at whom I started, having that urge of doing fighting, it's like it's Bruce Lee.
Okay.
Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan. That is it. Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan, because I've seen him and I've hit my brother thousands of times. And then my father ultimately told me, Chalo tum, you do a class. You don't hit him by.
Please tell us about Sumo Didi. I mean, it premiered in 2023. It's your biopic,
Yeah.
and it premiered at the 2023 Tokyo International Film Festival and 2024 Palm Springs International Film Festival. So tell us more about
And
it.
also in the and also in the New York Indian Film Festival as well.
Okay.
Yeah. It was amazing. It was an amazing journey. So I have trained Shriyam Bagnani, the actor. So I was the person who has trained her for the movie.
Oh, is it
Uh,
so? Wow.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I have trained her. We were into the training schedule for months. I was throughout the film, so I was there throughout the film. So every scene where Shriyam is doing something, I was there, to guide her and everything. It was a very amazing experience. We have done the shooting in Japan also. So in Mumbai, in Japan, and in Kolkata.
I can see you're also wearing a T-shirt. I think it has
Yeah.
Didi written on it. Oh, wow. So the title Sumo Didi, I saw that it's also your Instagram username. So is it something that
Yeah.
people used to call you and then you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, back then, of course, because it's a male-dominated game,
Yes.
so people would, start, people would, in my school also, school, college, my friend would call me, they would not call me by my name, Hetal or something. They would call me, hey, judo, hey, sumo.
Okay.
So then sumo happened, and then one of the reporters, they did a story on me, and there he put this Sumo Didi as a title. And then people started calling me Didi, Sumo Didi. And then the Sumo Didi name, actually
And then it.
came into.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
So, Hetal, a message that you have for young girls who are, sort of thinking of pursuing sports or unconventional sports for that matter, something that they can take away from your journey that you'd like to share with them.
I would just say that, success and struggle go hand in hand. So if you're looking at success, you should have that aim of getting that success to you. But of course, don't forget there will be struggles and you will have to overcome those struggles. And, just move on, bindas. If you are aiming for a goal, you will get there and you will surpass every struggle in your life. So just believe in yourself, believe in the process, and it will happen and it has to happen.